Hello, today we'll be talking about the history and art of storytelling. Specifically, we'll be focusing on magazines in the United States, how it transformed American culture, and an overview of everything that magazines' articles do well in order to tell a story. Let's get started on the history. The first magazines to gain popularity were literary magazines in the 1800s. These magazines often featured short stories or teasers to longer books. They became very popular as they allowed the audience to sample different types of literature and authors, including new and unique genres. In the 1800s, pulp magazines started becoming popular as well. The pulp part of the name comes from the tree pulp that magazines were printed on, making them inexpensive to create. A lot of Americans enjoyed these because their stories were fictional and they had a lot of drawings. Furthermore, a wave of new authors came to the magazine industries as they were able to publish their stories for cheap. The early 1900s came with the rise of woman magazines, which became a guide for women in the home environment. They offered advice and featured stories that appealed more to women. In the 1940s, themed and entertainment magazines became very popular. These magazines kept up with the latest news, focused on mainstream media, and could be themed as well. They gave publishing companies a better way to understand what the American public wanted. Now, magazines, at least I think, aren't super popular anymore, at least compared to the 1940s, however, there are still many being published. Modern day magazines often feature a mix of all the components that were discussed. You can pause this video right now and look at the list of different articles that magazines have nowadays. Included in this list are the different types of stories, such as opinion pieces, interviews, fictional stories, current news articles, etc. Now that we've discussed the history of magazine articles and its effect on America, let's look at what exactly makes a magazine article so compelling. How do journalists tell their stories and why does it appeal to their audiences? The very first part to consider for a good magazine article is your topic. You must have an interesting or remarkable topic which draws the audience in. Oftentimes, this either means introducing a new idea or giving a different perspective on a familiar subject. Make sure your topic also appeals to the audience of the magazine. Then you have to craft the subject's personality well. You have to let the audience know why they should care. Oftentimes, you should appeal to their emotions, logics, or ethics. Next, as you write a magazine article, make sure it has a beginning, middle, and end. Magazine articles don't leave the audience on cliffhangers. They answer all of the questions presented. You also want to make sure it's easy to follow. Similarly, one of the ways that magazines appeal to the audience so well is by pulling the reader in with a hook. Then they rely on conflict or intrigue to keep their story going, and they wrap it up with something memorable to make sure the audience does not forget. Magazines also elicit genuine emotional responses. The article should not feel forced or manipulated. And this is a significant point. They must be factually accurate.